Back in February, we embarked on a mission to save our garden, and in today's episode, we're stepping things up a level. Last time you saw us, we had spent weeks clearing out the garden so that we could finally start making it into a beautiful and tranquil oasis of a space for the summer. We got rid of all of the old decking squares to uncover these Victorian quarry stones. We shifted lots of bricks and debris, and we even had time to pressure wash the whole thing. We were on a roll, or at least it felt like we were, until we realized how much time had passed. Who knew that landscaping work takes this long? We might have bit off a little bit more than we can chew, but at least we're having fun doing it. So now we're finally back with the next installment. We are ready to overhaul the patio space and freshen it up for the spring. Let's jump in where we left off. We're going to start the day by cleaning out these pots, this one and this one. And we're going to plant up these two plants to make it look a little bit nicer around here. Did you put Brussels sprouts in here? Why did you put Brussels sprouts in here? Did you think this was going to be a compost bin? That's really stinky of you. Look at that. The perpetrator.
I would compost.
Babe, there's an art to composting. That's not it. I think one day, maybe next year at this rate, Hayley and I would like to start a compost, but there is a fine art to it. You've got to layer it and there's so many things you need to consider. So we're going to learn how to do that at some point, but this wasn't the answer. I know there's a lot of other things in the garden that I should have prioritized doing first rather than potting up some of these plants, but I was fed up of looking out the window and seeing all of the mess. I just wanted some greenery to look at instead. You might notice that I have picked out a lot of plants that are going to stay green throughout the winter. I really like looking into the garden and seeing a lot of greenery even in the darkest, coldest months. So that's why I've picked some of the ones that I have. Anyway, a few days later and it was time to finally start working on some of the patio projects. You might be thinking, Hermione, what are you doing? Well, let me explain. We're going to be using a mixture of slabs and gravel in this area to keep project costs down, and I needed to find a way to keep the gravel in one space without it spilling onto these quarry tiles that we so lovingly cleaned. I thought about how I was going to do this for weeks, and then one day as I was walking around in the neighborhood, I noticed that actually a lot of the walls here are made from stones, probably sourced from the beach, but it seems to be something that the Victorians did a lot of on the Isle of Wight. So I'm creating a very small rock wall to keep the gravel in its place, and this is the first time I'd ever done anything like this, so I'm just using a ready mix mortar and doing my best. I got the stones for free, which is a bargain, and if you're wondering where they came from, for legal reasons, they did not come from the beach. Anyway, if you're going to try this at home, I promise you it actually wasn't that hard. I just tried to make sure to smooth over all of the mortar as much as I could to give it a nice even finish. Update, I've run out of stones, but we've managed to get this far, so I only really need enough to do this little section. But if we look up close, I don't think it's looking too bad. Could be a lot worse. Here we go. Come on, come on. My plans for the garden have changed ever so slightly with the theme that we're going for. You might remember in the last video I said this. I have this image in my head of creating a garden that looks like it belongs in the south of France. With all of the plans we had and with this project being on a budget, we kind of realized that the garden's probably going to lean more into the English country garden aesthetic rather than looking like it's in the south of France, although that is my dream garden. Hayley and I would love to move to the south of France one day. It's a long-term goal for us, but in the meantime, I have to learn French. I was pretty decent at French in high school, but it's been a while. I've tried to pick it up a few times, but other things have gotten in the way, like learning Korean and all of that.
but I'm going to start learning again so that maybe we can one day make our South of France garden a reality. And that's where today's video sponsor Lingoda comes in.
Lingoda is a language learning app that connects you with teachers across the world at a time that suits you. The classes you take will never have more than 5 students, and you'll have the opportunity to get real speaking practice in every lesson. I love the flexibility of signing up for a class at a time that suits me so I can make it fit my schedule. And Lingoda give you access to all the class materials you need to prepare yourself beforehand. The classes are so fun as Lingoda teachers create an interactive environment to ensure that you receive personalized feedback to help you reach your goals faster. And Lingoda know that consistency is key when language learning. They've launched the Sprint Challenge to encourage learners to go the extra mile in exchange for a huge reward at the end, either 50% cash back or more free classes. You can choose between the Sprint Challenge or the Super Sprint Challenge to really push yourself, see what you can learn in only 60 days. If you want to get up to 20% off, use the code Hermione20. I will leave the link in the description. Thanks again to Lingoda for sponsoring this video and getting my French lessons on track. Some projects in this garden take weeks to complete, and others, I don't know, 10-15 minutes, and luckily for me this was one of those nice ones. I wanted to just refresh all of the windowsills, so I painted them in this white exterior brick paint that I found on clearance in B&Q. I think it was £2.50 for a really small tub of tester paint. We painted all the windowsills and we did the step for the front door, although I kind of wish we'd left this till last because it did just get muddy again and again. So I'll probably have to repaint this once the garden is closer to being finished, but some mistakes are made on the way and that's fine.
So what are you doing?
I'm trying to get the soil level a little lower because we're gonna put new gravel on top. But I don't want it to be in a mound, which is kind of what it looks like right now. We need to get rid of a bit of this. So I'm going to use some gravel in these flower beds here, and let me explain to you why. This area where the patio is kind of feels a bit like a courtyard with no sunlight whatsoever. And very little grows here, so I do prefer to just put things in a pot that I can move around in the summer or the winter to get a little bit more sunlight. I promise I won't gravel the entire garden. We're going to grow things in the ground at the back of the garden in the sunshine. But gravel is such a great budget-friendly way to make things look a lot neater and tidier in areas where you just want to freshen up the space, but maybe you don't have the sunlight for nice plants. I think we ended up using probably 30 or more bags of Cotswold chippings. I lost count, but we had to do a lot of trips to the range and Jewson's, Home Bargains, B&Q, the garden centre. We were in the car for a good portion of March. I actually felt sometimes like we spent more time running errands than actually working on the garden, but we did get there in the end. We were going to go fully gravel for the whole patio, but then we found these amazing paving slabs in the range. They were £3.99 each, which is very decently priced for paving slabs. To be able to just buy a couple of them at the range or in the garden centre is a great way to save some money, and we were very impressed with how affordable these were and how affordable the chippings were.
What are we doing now?
Cotswold chippings. They're cheaper than they were at Jewson's. They are 3 for £12.
Where are they gonna go?
Everywhere. I think we need 9 bags.
She soon found out that her calculations were wildly inaccurate. Better luck next time, Hermione.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
And of course, we had to squeeze in a trip to the garden centre with Nan because, you know, she loves it there and she does know her stuff when it comes to plants. So she gave me a lot of good quality advice on what I should and shouldn't be getting, especially at this time of the year. Everyone's asking where you've been, Nan. She's still here.
She is totally just.
Only
She's still here.
causing trouble wherever she goes. Look, it looks like the end of our garden where the spiders are.
I don't want to think about this.
What happened?
Something took a bite out of our Crocs.
All of them.
This.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that one looks...
It's so annoying. I just bought these.
What?
It's gone.
Despite the hardships that we endured along the way, we must persevere because it is time to finish this project, Crocs or not. So for the gravel in this area, we started by laying down some underlay to make sure that there would be no weeds or anything growing up from underneath our gravel. And then we made one fatal mistake, which I wish I could undo, but you know what? It's not the worst thing that could have happened. We picked up this building sand at the range, and I thought it was going to be similar to building sand that we'd used in other areas of the garden, but it was very red and soft, kind of like play sand. It was just different. Unfortunately, it did kind of dye the gravel a little bit pinky red for a couple of weeks, but after watering the garden many times, it did go away. So it wasn't the worst thing ever. It just kind of slowed the process of finishing up this project. As you can see here, we're using those paving slabs that we picked up earlier and deciding where they're going to go. We're deciding whether they're going to go in a straight line or a zigzag pattern because we also want space behind at the back there for a bench. We decided to go with this little zigzag looking pattern. We really are leaning into that English country garden feel.
We laid down all the pavers and we've made sure they're about 22 centimeters apart. They're a little bit like mismatched because we wanted that feel, but they're still evenly spaced. Isn't that right?
It might not look like it, but we did get the tape measure out. These were between 21 and 22 centimeters apart each. And then again, we made sure that the sand was perfectly level underneath to ensure that none of these slabs would be wobbly. This takes quite a while, but honestly, it's worth spending the extra time doing it because it will really bring your project together. And the next thing to do is the Cotswold chippings. It's one of those things where you think, oh, I'm only going to need like 5 bags, but then you need like 25 or 35 bags. I don't know how many we got for this space in the end, but it was more than we thought we needed. This is where we were at by the end of the day, and we do have to put another few bags of Cotswold chippings down, but it's looking a lot better. Promise it's going to look a lot greener in a minute as well.
Under here. Okay. Okay.
Okay, so here we are doing a project that we have wanted to do since day one of moving back into the house, which is replacing that wrought iron gate, which was honestly on its last legs. And I found this one online for I think about £45. The next job was to figure out how to make it work.
So I've just put this piece of timber down here so we can hoist the gate onto it while we attach the hinges.
Please. You said it funny.
Hey, get out of the way.
I'm not going to lie to you, I do not have step-by-step instructions on how to do this because I didn't read any instructions. So if I were to give you my own, it would probably be a bad idea. But we made it work. I will say I made two maybe controversial decisions. The first one was to put the gate on, quote unquote, the wrong way. But I wanted the nice flat side to face into our garden because no one else is going to see it. We have an alleyway down the side of the house. So I made that decision, and I also decided to have the gate opening into the alleyway because that's where we put the bins. So we use it to go out of our garden more so than into the garden. Might be controversial, but that is the decision I made.
Holy shit, we did that. Oh, wow. Well, you did that. We did that. That! And Kona can still put her face through the hole. Yeah,
we added a lock for some extra security, and we do still need to add the handle. I just was over it by this point, so that's still sitting downstairs somewhere. It will get done one day. Anyway, I finished off this day by giving the patio one last scrub. Hey, Lee and Hermione. So we're going to finish the patio today. I'm pretty confident we're going to make some good progress. We had all of the furniture delivered from Nan's house that was in the garden. The table, the chairs, the swing bench, some of her benches and chairs that she gave us, all of these big pots of plants that I didn't realize I still had. So that's nice. It's going to make the garden look good.
Yeah.
But in order to do that, I just want to get this section sorted first. And then in the next video, we can work on the back of the garden. You think we can do it today?
I hope so.
Let's try. Behind me here we have two benches that my nan gave me that she wasn't using. We've cleaned them and got rid of all the crusty old leaves. Thousands of years worth of leaves. And now I'm going to put this stain on it, which I got on clearance for £13. Now it is decking stain, but I checked online and a lot of people say that you can successfully use decking stain on things like benches, and actually because it's very, very hard wearing, it's a great option. So double win. Place it in the middle for me. Here.
Hey! Wants to be the focus.
Okay, we are finally at the end of this patio makeover. After 2 whole months of trips back and forth to the garden centre, projects in this little space, I'm finally ready to wrap it up. For now, I mean, there's more stuff I would like to do through the rest of the summer, but we will revisit it. Let me show you what it looks like at the moment.
Let me remind you of what the garden looked like at the start of the year. Very uninspiring, a little bit grim. Some might call it a hot mess. You know, it was a work in progress. But here we are today. This is what the patio is looking like. And I'm so happy that we made this decision. We did this on a major budget. And although I was a bit concerned about choosing gravel for the final result, it worked out so well. I love the courtyard feeling that this space has. I'm obsessed with it. There are lots of other things I would like to do in this patio area, but we do need to move on to the rest of the garden. So I'll come back and do those things. I'd like to make some couch covers for the benches that aren't the ones that we have. I need to fit the handle on the gate. I have to cover up that weird black plastic from the neighbor's shed. There's definitely a lot to be done, so we will come back and revisit it, but this is where we're at for now. and I'm really impressed with how far it's come over the last few months. It makes such a difference in the space, and now we actually hang out in the garden all the time. As I mentioned, we do have a lot to do in the rest of the garden. Luckily, it's quite sunny over there, so we can grow some more plants. I need to fix the shed. We may have bought ourselves a hot tub from Aldi. The possibilities here are endless, so there's going to be quite a few more updates to come. And let me know any ideas that you have that might add a little extra something to the patio, because we're not finished yet.
That was everything for today's video. I'm really excited to take the next step in the garden makeovers and work on the back of the garden, the lawn, the shed, hot tub, all of that kind of stuff. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to see those videos coming out. And if you have any ideas of what I can add to this patio, what other things I can do, please let me know, because it's still not finished quite yet. It's a work in progress. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you next time. Take care. Bye.